Searching for your top-tier flooring solutions? Introducing Epoxy Docs. We specialize in crafting durable, stunning epoxy floors. Visit epoxydocsus.com or call 605-290-0997.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fam Sports. Kind of giving you a little bit of a late recap and also a preview into the Spearfish Spartans game against Mitchell. I think they're the Colonels, aren't they?
Yep, Mitchell Colonels. Because the old Corn Palace.
The old Corn Palace. Yep, yes. Palace. You gotta love popcorn, right? Yep. Something like that. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, a little late on the recap. So basically, the Spartans took down Rapid City Central. The Cobblers
come from behind
win, yes. Down 14-0, I believe, at half. Or something like that. 26-22 was the final score. First off, I got to say that Hunter Walters is a man.
Hunter Walters and Evan, they were like,
Evan looked good too.
Hey, let's hop on my back and
I will take us to victory.
They were not going to lose that game.
No,
that wasn't going to happen. And those two, we had Coach Teason in here, and he was like, 2-minute offense. We didn't know if we were going to be able to throw because Jack got injured, and. Yep. Then all of a sudden, those two were like, "You don't got to throw, Coach. We got you.
We got it. We got it." I remember
that was very impressive.
I had a feeling that.
Oh boy!
I mean, Jack got hurt on that. I think it was kind of there was a flag on the sideline that, and they got into the red zone, and I had a feeling. I went around the front of it, and the very next play they scored, and right in front of me, beautiful run by Hunter Walters, and the man said, and I. I wish I would have kept in my audio from a play earlier where Hunter was running, did a spin move, and fumbled the ball in midair because my voice went from like, "Yeah, Hunter," to "Oh no," and they recovered it.
Yeah,
so
it was kind of it was close, but it shouldn't have been a close game.
No,
we got to be biased on it. Like we don't want to be homers. We want to be completely honest. It shouldn't have been a close game at all. No. Spearfish are like the better team, hands down.
Yeah.
Spearfish played down to their opponent, and I think unlike other Spearfish teams in the past, they came back.
Yep.
They realized what they were doing. They came back, and they got the dub. So,
oh yeah, and I think, but that's the thing though, is this team can't do that against some of these tougher teams.
No,
especially
they're going into the meat grinders section of the season,
schedule.
And I know like people are talking about they come and play Mitchell. Mitchell's losses to a really good Brookings team, but they absolutely destroyed Douglas 51-13. And then this AA is wide open, but there's a lot of good teams in there. I mean, Mitchell's always good. I mean, Mitchell's never a bad team. Watertown, T. I know Spearfish had already beaten T, but first game of the year, I think. I mean, there's just a lot of really good teams. Aberdeen Central, it's juggernaut after juggernaut, and everybody's got a tough schedule. I was looking at Pierce's schedule and like, holy crap, this is bad too. I mean, not bad, but this is competitive, and Spearfish's schedule is competitive. But there's a really good chance that come I think it's week 6, Pierre and Spearfish go head to head in Pierre, and they both are sitting undefeated potentially. Yeah.
And I think it's going to be this is the stretch of the schedule where boys become men. Like this is where you have to get it done. The pressure. I know we've talked about it here at nauseum with Cecily and Coach Teason and some of the guys. But overall, like this is where the season is made right here. Like you've got a big time win as he listens to Britney Spears as we get ready.
Actually, it was highlights of.
But overall, like this is the time of the schedule where you have to make the most of it. You got to come away with wins. You got to go up against tough teams and get it done.
So like I did say they played down to Rapid City, but they came away with the win. And these games, that's going to be what it comes down to. Yep. When you're playing, your Aberdeens, your Watertowns, your Piers, your Mitchells, even Yankton. If you get a shot at Yankton, it's going to be the playoffs, obviously, because you don't play them during the regular season. But it's going to be any way you can. It's going to be an absolute street fight between all of them, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. If you're not watching AA football right now, you're doing something wrong because you make time to watch this kind of football. If you're any kind of football fan, you're watching this kind of football because there is not a game that I haven't seen or kind of read about or anything that isn't exciting. There's been some shellackings, but overall, very, very competitive from top to bottom. Absolutely. I mean, you got some gimme. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you got a real gimme in there. And Spearfish's schedule is one of the toughest schedules you're going to see with Mitchell, Aberdeen Central, and then they come home for homecoming against a good, I would say a good Huron team. And then they have to go all the way back to Watertown. That team has shown that they can play very, very well. Douglas, and then that's week 7 against Pierre at Pierre. Yep. And we will be there. We will probably have to sneak in, but we'll do some.
It's going to be really, really fun. I'm excited. Like if the Spartans play up to their potential,
which they absolutely will,
which I think they will too. They should. Like this is going to be the game. Like that to me is the game that I think everybody's kind of circling.
And I want to say that I do think that they're going to play up to their potential. I think that the Rapid City was a wake up call for a lot of them, and I think the biggest thing is you watched high school kids realize that on the sidelines, and that's the maturity that Coach Teason has given these kids. And this coaching staff with like Teason, I'm just going to go off the guys I know: Coach Teason, Bryce Harkless, well, that's the only ones I know right now. But honesty, out of those two guys, I know and this coaching staff is good. You heard them on the sidelines. You heard them talking. You heard them not getting after. Cecily talks about running a team with fear and running a team with camaraderie, and they are running it with camaraderie. When I grew up, we ran it with my coach ran it with fear. It is what it is. I'm still kind of hurting by it, but just kidding. But no, there's honest camaraderie there, and they realize that they can talk. They can say, hey, I'm seeing this. I heard it all over. Like, what are you seeing? It's not even from coaches. I'm watching Asher Peel run up and down the sidelines going, what are you guys seeing? What do you need to do here? This is what you need to do. And then they made I think they made, looking back on the film and stuff, I think they made the adjustment to go into a 4-point stance.
Yeah.
They were realizing that they weren't getting the leverage that they needed. They weren't getting low. So I think Leighton Loop, right?
Leighton and probably Lathan too, yeah.
Leighton. I think Leighton was on the one. He was a kid we had in here before. He was on the line.
Yep.
Leighton Loop, actually, I watched him kind of point and stuff, and it's on the film and you can see it. And then all of a sudden you're starting to see him in a 4-point. And there's so much trust in all these players and all these coaches and how Coach Teason has done this. It is honestly such a fun thing to watch.
Yep.
So even if you're not a Spearfish fan, if you're watching this and you thought it was the highlight tape of the Spearfish Spartans, you're from Yankton or whatever, I'm telling you right now, Coach Teason is somebody to watch and really pay attention to. He is one of those coaches that are going to be very, very sought after and very valuable later down the road.
I definitely think that's a possibility, and especially with how under any circumstance this team seems so far through the first couple of weeks of the season, they seem to rise up over to the occasion under any circumstance. And so
absolutely.
Any coach that can get that most out of their players in that current and in that kind of situation is huge. And I think that we talked about it too. We had Lathan and Thomas Hughes in here earlier this week, and I got to be honest with you,
oh man, those kids,
they're a lot of fun. And honestly, I don't every kid that we've had on so far has been so much fun. They've been very respectful, awesome to be around. And so
Lathan is a junior, and you would think that he is a full-grown man that has a job and 4 kids.
Yeah. I know.
He was the most politest, the politest, both of them were, but just Lathan talked a little bit more.
Yeah.
And they were both super polite and just very, very correct answers and but they had fun. You could tell that they were energized and they were having fun, and it was.
I almost wanted to ask, are you running for the Senate or something,
yeah,
dude?
Yeah, I guarantee you, Lathan will be on your ballot come 2040,
32 something. Yeah, he'll definitely be there. And a guy that honestly, when you watch him, the more and more you watch him on his tape, middle of the field, a reader, just fantastic downhill player, and he makes all makes all those plays that his team needs him to from that middle linebacker position. So.
He makes the plays that people don't notice. He is the one that is heading off the lead blocker. He's the one that's getting an arm, slowing the guy down so the rest of the team can get the tackles. And all these guys, you can tell the trust is there because everybody's doing their job, and Lathan is a prime example of that. I mean, we can go on and on about it, but just because Lathan and Thomas is probably the most athletic kid you're going to see on the field. that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, Hunter obviously runs just downhill, and he's just aggressive, and he runs mean and angry. But Thomas actually, Thomas is that kid that can go out. He can throw 40 yards, and then he can catch. And if he's got a little bit of space, there's going to be magic
Open
that
field.
happens.
It's
I
tough.
mean, it's like watching the Miami Dolphins offense. Honestly, watching those guys, because there's so many things they can do with the athleticism that they have. All it takes is a little bit of open field, and it is dangerous. And then is it Dorn?
Dylan Dorn, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
he's pretty good.
He just glides.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. Like watching him run is it's kind of insane because he just glides.
I'll tell you, we saw him connect on a deep pass from, I think it was Jack, the first week of the season, and then later on. In the Central game, it was like they were the pass plays were right there, like they were right there. But I think that Dorn had unfortunately injured his ankle before, like in warmups and everything. But hopefully things are good to go there, because some of those deep pass plays, when this offense is going on all cylinders, when you've got the deep passing game, you've also got the running game. Like this is a very tough offense to guard. So I'm really excited. I think that the Spartans have a really good chance here going up against Mitchell, and then also in 2 weeks, I think we'll be heading up for the Aberdeen game as well. And so.
And that offense is that offense is just going to get dirtier and dirtier.
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, you just like hand it off to Hughes, and Hughes can throw it, run it. I mean, he might even throw a pass to himself. Who knows? That kid can pretty much do whatever.
Yep.
And then you could always Jack keeps it. And then he's throwing the ball out of the building.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a pass that Jack hasn't been able to make.
No, and I mean
that kid's got an arm, and he's quick. His feet are very good for a bigger kid. He's not like husky or anything. He's very built, but his feet are very good. If you watch his feet, it's pretty amazing to watch those high school kids.
Absolutely.
And how athletic they really are.
And I think the defense really complements it so well, because it makes the right plays to help set up this offense. We saw it when this offense needed to stop from its defense multiple times against the Cobblers, and they ended up making it. And so I'm
gonna press a little bit. I think the defense could be better.
I think how they got the stops they needed to. How?
They did. They got the stops they needed to, but I think that the defense needs to shore up right away after halftime. I think there's a lull there, or you're gonna have
first half,
or just win the coin toss and defer. You might have to do that too. I think that it's. And this is the only negative, and I don't know if we're even going to keep this in or not. We'll talk afterwards. But this is the only negative I see, is when a defense even gets stagnant a little bit. That's scary to me, because it could be the wrong time. Mm-hmm. It really could. I mean, you have the offensive weapons to basically come back from any amount that you're down by, but the defense needs to have the same mentality as the offense, and there is no tomorrow. You're round 14 every play. Yep. And if you don't know what round 14 is, look, kids, go watch Rocky. It's like a 1980s boxing movie.
If you don't know what
14, take their soul, dude.
Take the soul. And so yes. I think I agree to a certain extent.
But that's the only and it's not a huge and I'm not trying to bash anything or any. But that if there was a negative thing that I would pick out, that would be the thing. Is I feel like the defense, as athletic and gifted as these kids are, there's no, and I get there, but they're undersized. They were undersized with T. And you're watching the defense be successful drive after drive after drive. I would like to see the defense be successful when they don't absolutely have to be, because I think that's going to eliminate the panic that the offense has, and they're going to be able to do more with that offense, if that makes any sense.
I think what it comes down, and I agree to a certain extent, I think you have to start out fast, like the entire game. There cannot, I can't tell how many times I've been asked this week, like just because we've been covering the games, like is Mitchell any good? And I'm like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't care if Mitchell's any good or not. Like there's a good team. I'm not taking anything away from, but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter who's lining up across from you. You have to go into every game like every game is the Alamo. There is no, is this team good?
It's high school football.
No, you have to bring it every single week. They're going to get into the playoffs. Let's be honest. But the biggest thing with this AA
the way it's set up is seeding this year.
Yep.
The seeding has been important, but I think right now, this year, seeding is going to be one of the years that seeding is one of the most important things. You don't want to go through a meat grinder to go to the playoffs.
No.
You want that. You want to play to your ability, get that 1, get that 2 seed. Get that not gimme game, because there's no gimme games in AA right now.
There's not.
But there is, you're not going to want to see Yankton and then go and see Pier and then go and see Watertown in the finals.
Yeah.
That's not a road you want to do.
No. And I want to preface, I also want to backtrack here a little bit, because I feel like I went off there just saying, like, everybody's asking me. It's like, I get why people are asking, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, my mind says, I don't care. Because just watching these kids, how much it means to them and how fun the season's already been, I don't think they care either.
And just so you guys know, if you want, sorry, do I keep interrupting you?
You're good.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, just so you guys know, you don't even have to ask us if someone's good in AA. They're all good in AA. There's not a team. There might be one, and I'm not going to say their name. Everybody knows who it is. But they're legitimately, I would say there's a top 8 to 10 teams that could beat any team any given
But
Friday.
that's my thing too, is the same thought was thought about with Rapid City last week, because like a team that's like, oh, Rapid City's this and that, and like I could hear it too with like some of the kids, and I understand that that's a confidence thing, but at the same time, it's like this AA football. It's you either have to come out like every game is the Alamo, or it is or you're going to come out flat, down 14-0, and now you got to claw yourself back. This is the team that has the talent to do that, but can we just win games comfortably? Does it have to be like?
It is fun.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun, but it's like you have so much talent. You don't need to worry about if the other team's good or not. You play your game, it won't matter.
No, and I mean, the thing about Spearfish is Spearfish was the underdogs for so long. Come week 3, week 4, they already have it. I mean, you already can see, and you can see the shift where Spearfish used to kind of be that gimme team. They're not anymore.
No, they're not.
And I've heard, like, I'm from the other side of the state. I talk to people from the other side of the state. Like, I just talked to a guy from T, and he was like, yeah, they kind of did go into that, but they realized he goes, we realized real fast that this was not the same type of Spearfish team that we've gone up against before.
Yep.
And he's 100% right. But
Absolutely.
the state has been put on notice, and they're noticing. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that too. The sneakiness that Spearfish was going to get, and we're going to be sneaky good. That's not the case anymore. Everybody knows that Spearfish is good.
Yep, I agree. Players of the game, real quick.
Oh, I wasn't prepared. So let's edit this out.
I feel like no, we'll be fine. So players of the game, I feel like it's easy to look at what Hunter Walters did. Like, let's be real.
Yep, I got one.
He did his thing. Like, Hunter Walters is a stud, great kid to interview and everything too. Just a great kid overall. And it's really tough because I want to give it back to him this week, but we got to be different. I'm going to go out and I'm going to say Lathan Lucas, because I don't think people realize, if you watch any amount of tape on Spearfish at all, like, they have so much athleticism in the linebacking court and in the safeties and the corners, and the D line sets it up well. Like, Lathan Lucas, the way that he's able to flow to the football, it's just it's so fun to watch. And I think that I'm going to give him player of the game. I'm making up for last week, but Lathan Lucas,
Hunter was a good pick.
Hunter's a good player.
Yes, Hunter's a solid player. I'm going to go with Evan.
Okay. Why Evan?
Because I mean, he is one of those guys. Like, I was on the fence with this. I was going to go Evan or Hughes, but I'm going to go Evan, just because he was one of those players that when he needed to do his thing, he did his thing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. I don't think Hunter makes some of those carries without him.
That's true. I can, especially that last drive where you had to have it misdirection, and like Evan straight up. Evan's got some wheels.
Oh,
like
my
I actually couldn't believe that. Like, not that I'm saying Evan's slow, but like I looked at it and I was just
we're too fat old guys.
Yeah, we're too fat old guys. Yeah, like we're not throwing any shade. I was just looking at it, I was like, oh, dude, Evan actually might be.
Yeah, he's legit.
He's legit. So
he's very good, and he's as a player, he's very quiet, and he's one of those guys that just has his head down and does his job.
Yep.
And I've taken notice, man. Like you do
your thing,
you
man.
have turned my head, and he's definitely going to be a player that I watch consistently going forward because he does all the little things that coaches want, and all these guys do.
Yep.
But he seems to do a little bit more and get that extra yard, help Hunter get this, help Hughes get this, and that's why I'm going to go with Evan.
Okay. Real quick previews for and against Mitchell. Now I'm gonna cards on the table. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know a lot about Mitchell. We're gonna have our very own. We're gonna have Cecily Barneau. She's gonna be shooting some videos for us. Cecily, we love you. She's been so fun to deal with and really fun to work with thus far. She's also Beyond the Game podcast that's gonna be released here shortly. Have our first couple of episodes out. Really excited
Check that
to
out.
It's gonna be it's really fun.
Let's dive in real quick. Basically, it's the mental aspect of the game, and we're also going to get into some of other stuff as far as like anxiety, like we're going to get into everything, And it's one of those things that's going to be very knowledgeable because you're getting it from a source that continues to grow and continues to she just absorbs knowledge. Like anything she's taken in, and she's like weeding out the bad stuff and dishing out the good stuff. You're not going to find a better human being than Cecily.
No.
She honestly just wants the best for everybody.
Yep.
And she wants to, what she has and what she's done, she wants to be able to give to everybody.
Absolutely.
And she is, she's a great person. I'm glad I met her. And but we're gonna dive into some stuff. And basically, if you're going through some crap, check out the episodes. They might be helpful. If you're getting like panic attacks, anxiety, stuff like this, it's not going to be just sports related too. It's stuff you can just use at home and get through it. Like high school kids, anything like that. The pressure is there. We all know it. Like your college and a job, or there's a lot of things going on. So definitely check it out. And it's fun. She's super fun to fun to talk to. So
she is.
But yeah.
No, and I'm excited for as we kind of get going with that podcast and everything. The guests will bring on the different, hopefully helpful tools and techniques we help along with that part of the show as well. And so, as far as so Cecily, she's going to be taking some video for us in the Mitchell game. Like I said, we'll also be up for the Aberdeen game in a couple of weeks. But real quick previews to the game or kind of keys. I think it's got to you got to have that balance if you're Spearfish. You got to have the balance of running the football, but also being willing to take deep shots and still keep that length and those sides of the field open. Because I think that opens up the running game so much more.
I think the Mitchell corners are weak. But the Mitchell safeties make up for it.
Yeah.
I think the only way, like you said, is to establish a running game. And this is going to sound the most generic thing in the world, but honestly, this is how you're going to really kind of take control of Mitchell: is establish the running game, beat them over the top, and get those safeties to move up. And once those safeties move up, and the corners aren't going to be able to stay with those receivers. And honestly, I don't see an issue with Hunter or Evan as far as running, but there's always that what is it? Kind of like a jet lag. We'll call it bus lag.
Yeah.
That you're gonna have. That's the only thing that really would worry me. But talking to those two earlier this week, they sounds like they have a plan, and these kids, when they have a plan, it seems to work.
Yeah, it's worked for weeks 1 and 2. I got nothing.
So yeah, I wouldn't doubt them. I think they're going to start out fast. I think keys are start out fast, and then once you hit the halftime, don't give up that touchdown. Break that streak. That doesn't need to happen. So you just win the toss, man. Defer. Get that ball at half,
or just make a stop. Either one works. We're not hecklers. We're lovers here.
Coach Deason will have these guys ready to go, and I think it's going to be a really fun game. I think it's going to obviously end in a Spearfish win. But I don't think it's going to be a gimme.
No, I don't think so either. But let us know what you guys think. Are you guys going to the game? What are some things you're going to be watching out for? Let us know. Make sure you guys leave a comment, like, and everything. And we'll see you after they play Mitchell.
Yeah. Pop them kernels. Is that a good one?
Goodbye.
This production is brought to you by our local sponsors: Tropical Smoothie and Spearfish, Epoxy Docks, Queen City Doors, the Clubhouse of Spearfish, the Bashful Bison South Dakota Market, CBH Co-op, Signature Auto Sales, Custom Woodworks, One Way Service Pros, the Golf Course at Devil's Tower, and the Millstone Family Restaurant in Spearfish.